What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Mile High Hockey. Mike Evans, Will Peterson. Mike, this is going to be a little bit of a special edition, and I'm actually really excited about this today because the Four Nations face-off kicked off last night. Team Canada versus Team Sweden. What a hockey game it was. So much fun. Canada wins 4-3 in overtime. Nathan MacKinnon gets the first goal of the entire tournament less than a minute in. Sweden storms back. They play this epic OT. I mean, man, there were some doubters about this tournament. Hard to be a doubter after what we witnessed last night.
Yeah, if this was a Broadway show, it opened to rave reviews. It really did. And what you liked about it was the crowd was absolutely engaged. The players were engaged. You always figured that you'd get a professional effort from hockey players, right? But there is something to the idea that you strap the country across the front of that jersey, that these guys would definitely respond to it. And they did. It was a very entertaining hockey game. It was played at a very high level, a very high pace, and there was plenty of drama. The overtime, while recognizing, as I always have, that the way that they settle overtime in hockey is gimmicky. It's a gimmick, okay? But while acknowledging that it's a gimmick, man, it was an entertaining gimmick.
It was electric. There was no doubt about it. Let's start in OT and sort of work our way back because there's a lot of Avalanche storylines from this game. And in overtime, you could tell Nathan MacKinnon desperately wanted to be the hero for Team Canada, and I have no problem with that. He's the reigning Hart Trophy winner. He's either the best or second best player in the world. He's flying around. He has shot after shot, chance after chance. I counted 5 dangerous chances for Nathan MacKinnon in overtime. Mitch Marner eventually wins it for Team Canada, but Nathan MacKinnon looked like a man possessed, and we see that in Avs overtimes where he'll take it coast to coast. He did that last night, and you could hear the announcers going, "Oh my gosh, MacKinnon coast to coast," and it's like, as Colorado fans that watch every game, we're sort of spoiled with that, but he did look like he wanted to be the hero.
And the thing about last night that was so much fun to watch is that, I mean, we know Nathan MacKinnon is really good, right? We know he's really good at hockey, but you put him in that situation surrounded by world-class talent, and he still stands out. He still jumps off the screen at you, and it's like, wow. Like, you know, we always talk about, hey, don't take what Nikola Jokic does for granted. He makes it look so routine. For me, it was like, I don't take Nathan MacKinnon for granted. I never will. But there are some performances. Last night was one where I'm like, wow, is he special?
Absolutely. And what's weird to me is Nathan MacKinnon is facing a little bit of blowback.
Dude,
Let's get into this. So Pierre LeBrun tweets, Nathan MacKinnon said no thanks to the idea of 10-minute OT coming to league play. 7 minutes at most, he said he was absolutely gassed tonight, and I think most of the star players feel the same way. Okay, fine. Pierre LeBrun's just reporting what Nathan said post-game. Hey, too long, we were too tired. And then Greg Wyshynski from ESPN, who's basically one of the top hockey dogs out there, quote tweets it and says, breaking, guy who decides to basically take every shot in overtime on his own was gassed after overtime. And it's like, why is Wyshynski taking a shot at MacKinnon? Of what he's implying there, Mike, is that MacKinnon was selfish in OT.
Yeah, he was a ball hog. He was a puck hog.
I have a problem with that take from Greg Wyshynski.
Huge problem. Like you said, these things were grade A chances. Grade A chances. This wasn't some guy who was just hoisting pucks from the blue line or just, throwing it on and letting the goalie make an easy save. These things were ticketed, okay? And they were great scoring chances. Hey, is it Nathan MacKinnon's fault that he's out there dominating? That he's got a jetpack attached to his back and he's just blowing by people and he's getting these great scoring chances? What we're supposed to, I'm supposed to tell, I don't know. I'm supposed to tell LeBron James, who's in the midst of a heater, to stop shooting? Right? I mean, that's a bad take. That's a horrible take.
No, it was a horrible take, and it feels.
And I love Greg Wyshynski, but that's a bad take.
Okay, but a lot of people telling me that it feels a little personal, that Greg has an anti-Avs agenda, perhaps. He, a New Jersey Devils fan who's upset about the 2001 Stanley Cup Final. I don't know, but I'm trying to make sense of this. And I think to your point, real quick, with MacKinnon in OT, he's not like they had 3-on-0s and he's refusing to pass the puck. He's just doing what he does. He's making other guys look silly and getting good chances. I don't think Nathan MacKinnon was selfish at all last night. I think he was trying to ensure that Canada got the win. And guess what? They wore Sweden out and eventually did get the win thanks to MacKinnon.
The only thing I think is, and we had Greg Wyshynski on right after the Mikko deal. He didn't like the Mikko deal.
Okay.
And he's critical of the Avs for the deal. So maybe there's a little, especially with Marty Netches looking good and Mikko not looking good. Maybe he's cut some blowback. I don't know, but because that's a bad take.
It's a weird take for sure. All right, other storylines regarding the Avs from that game last night. Devon Toews and Cale Makar lead Team Canada in ice time. Shea Theodore, one of the defensemen, got hurt very early. He's going to be out for the entire tournament. A big concern from some, not from you and I necessarily, but from some, I'm looking at you, Zach By and James Marilat, was that injuries. Injuries are big concern. Well, Cale Makar did take a stick to the face. Devon Toews did go crashing into a goalpost, and both dudes played more than 24 minutes. You worried with 3 more games as an Avs fan, Makar Toews may get overworked here during the next week.
Well, it is something that, look, I mean, we're not really sympathetic to the plight of Vegas Knight fan, but for all the enthusiasm that people here feel about what we saw last night, can you imagine how much you'd be tempered if what happened to Theodore happened to Toews or especially
he
to
may
Makar?
have broken something. They said he went and got x-rays and he's out for the tournament.
Right.
I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. He probably broke something.
Maybe. So I don't think we'd be saying the same thing about this opening of the Four Nations face-off if something happened to Toews or Makar. But one thing I took away from watching that last night is that, A, the players like this opportunity to play for their country.
Yep.
And B, the NHL needs this. They need this. It's a sport that doesn't have a huge TV contract. It's a sport that actually is dependent on the amount of people who come through the turnstiles and sit in the seats to watch these games. And so for that reason, you got a year in which hockey ratings have been down on television. So for all those reasons, they need this. They need this. They need the boost that this four-nation face-off gives the game from both a perception standpoint, but also a revenue standpoint. And so for those reasons, yeah, there are some risks involved with what is basically an exhibition, okay? But it's a risk that the players in the league need to take.
Yeah, I get it. And, you know, both Zach and James told me they'd be holding their breath. Well, after last night, maybe I'll hold my breath a little bit, but Makar and Toews are going to play a lot in the next 2 games of the round robin and likely the championship game as well. We'll close on this. The opening goal, Mike, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Nathan MacKinnon from Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid. We talked a little bit about this power play and how it may be the best in the history of hockey. For that to open the tournament and to see MacKinnon from Crosby and McDavid, just poetic. So cool.
It's a hockey fan's dream.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be able to see that kind of talent all assembled at one time. And anybody who plays Team Canada, do not get into the box. Whatever you do, give up a breakaway. Give up a breakaway to somebody else. Don't hook somebody to save a breakaway. You're better off taking your chance with a breakaway than putting that power play unit out there.
And a childhood dream achieved for Nathan MacKinnon, getting a goal assisted by Sidney Crosby, who obviously grew up as his hero. So darn cool. Mike, we've got the United States and Finland tonight. Avalanche fans will be watching with close eyes because Arturi Lehkonen will be out there, and of course our old friend Mikko Rantanen will be out there. They will be sharing the first line winger duties. Fascinating tournament for sure.
Nate, keep shooting.
Keep shooting,
Nate.
Don't let anyone tell you you can't shoot. I'm going to be off for a little bit, but Mike will be back on Tuesday, give you the wrap-up of more Four Nations action as a championship game will loom. We'll see you next time on Mile High Hockey.